what Joy Goats does is to give out male goats to villages. A male goat doesn't give any milk, and it's milk that we want people to get. But one male goat can transform the goat population in a whole village. So you could have 100 families in a village. They've got their local goats, which are tolerable meat animals, but not very good, and certainly don't give any spare milk for people. But by breeding them with our goats, they can get milk for the whole family. The local goats in Uganda essentially are used for meat production. The European goats are very good for milk, but they don't survive under Ugandan conditions. By placing the male goats and letting people breed their local goats with them, they get crossbreeds which give enough milk, but they're also plenty tolerant enough for Ugandan conditions. In the medium term, what we want is to have people keeping goats that are capable of giving milk and drinking the milk from them. But those crossbreeds are very much a compromise. It's the best there is at the moment, but it's not the ideal goat for Uganda. What we would really like to do is to develop a new breed which combines the best characteristics from both of those parent breeds. A pure milk goat, you can milk it continuously for about 2 years. But these crossbreds, because they have some of the character of the local goats in them, the milk is still reducing. We need to select the best milkers, and then slowly, generation by generation, the amount of milk will increase. So that's the long-term aim. But even with the ordinary 50% crosses, there are families that will be drinking half a litre of milk per day. Some of those families may never have had milk at all, or maybe once a week or once a month. So what we want to do is to train the farmers' groups so they can take charge of their own breeding program to breed a new breed of goat. Doesn't even have a name yet, but it will be there. But it will take about 15 to 20 years just really to get a substantial start on that process. When we get there, it will help not just those farmers that have participated in our program, but actually it will help people all over Uganda, because other organisations will now have access to something that they didn't have before. The strategy of this, setting up a buck station, putting a male goat in a village, is very cost effective. With a few goats, we can really reach a lot of people. I've got a field worker in Mbali, David Iyakia. In this next year, the places where he's going to be working, probably we're estimating 14,000 people will actually be improving their milk consumption as a direct result of the program this year. Each male that we give will be potentially helping about 100 families. In practice, it may only be 30 or 40 that actually actively breed their goats with that male, but that's still a large number of families for placing one goat with. In the long term, if we take the whole of the program, in the next 10 years, we are expecting something like 150,000 people to have better nutrition by drinking more milk because of this program. But of course, as they've bred their own goats for themselves, goats are very fertile. They're producing many more offspring than that family can access. So there will be people in neighbouring villages who we've never trained directly, but they're also benefiting. Other organisations will buy these goats and distribute them. So we will assist 150,000 people to improve their nutrition, but we're expecting the impact will be much, much wider than that. We're actually working all over Uganda, but it's concentrated in some areas. We grew out of the Joy Youth Training Centre in Masaka, so Masaka is quite an important area. But in the last couple of years, the work in Mbali, which is in the southeast of Uganda, it has really taken off. And I think there actually is where it's going to be the biggest concentration, but it's all over really. Actually, I'm not sure I have typical days. I have some very interesting days and sometimes some boring days. Some of my days are just spent in the office, on the computer, sorting out paperwork. What I really enjoy is getting out and teaching the farmers. So I would typically teach one group of farmers in the morning and then a different group in the afternoon. Increasingly, it's clear that I just can't get around enough places. So I've already got two field workers, one for the Masaka area, one for the Mbadi area, but he travels a bit further than that. The most efficient way of them getting around is on a motorbike. And with a motorbike, they can carry the training materials on the back. They can reach places that I in my car can't reach, especially going up hills. Even in the flat areas, some of the tracks just aren't suitable for a vehicle. So motorbikes are just perfect for reaching virtually anyone in Uganda. So now, when I go to those areas, although I may be training the farmers, those people are my translators, and I'm making sure that they're familiar with the training material, so increasingly they're going out and training the farmers on their own. Eventually, over the next 2 years, I want to get to the stage where we have around about 5 such field workers in different parts of the country, speaking their own local languages, which is very important in Uganda, where there are actually about 34 different languages. So we really need a variety of extension workers with local languages, familiarity with local cultures, who can really communicate the message to the farmers. You could send us emails. And really that contact from home, even if it's just ordinary news of people, is a big encouragement to us. Please pray for us. I mean, as individuals, as church groups, please pray. It's essential. We feel the strain, and to know that, God is there in response to your prayers, that is important. A few people have encouraged us immensely by coming out. So if you want to come and visit us, please, you're very welcome. It's just lovely to be able to show people what we're doing firsthand. This program is having an impact in many parts of Uganda. Regularly, the program gets about £500 a month, but with periodic top-ups and lump sums, it amounts to close to £1,000 a month. That we're using for paying workers, for petrol, for buying goats. To do everything that we want to do, we would need about £2,000 a month. So yes, we are asking people for money, but we think we're spending it well, and so we're hoping that people will respond and agree with us.